On Sunday, March 22nd, at 12:22 p.m., I had to make a difficult phone call. I had to call Mama. I had to call Mama because she was waiting, like we all had been waiting. It had been a year of waiting. It had been 1 year and 4 days, to be exact. We were hoping and longing and wishing and praying and waiting. So I called Mama to let her know that her daughter, my sister, was gone. March 22nd, this past Sunday, at 12:22 p.m., Maxine Warren Moss transitioned. It wasn't that long ago. It was just 5 days ago, but my heart is heavier than a 5 days. It seems like longer. And I'm believing that because of how I felt about Maxine, that it'll be that way for quite some time. Not sure that we ever get over it. Not sure that we even get past it. I think it's just something that we live with. So in honor of my sister, I just want to say a few words in her behalf. Because I know she would want me to. And more importantly, I just feel the need to do so. So bear with me. This is a tribute to my sister. It's based on two phrases that she was, at least with me, known to use and would do so repeatedly. One phrase was, "You better trust and believe." With those words, if there were a topic to add to what I'm about to say, it would be that. You better trust and believe. In the Bible, in the book of 1 Timothy, 4th chapter, 7th verse, somewhere in there, it says, "I have fought a good fight, and I have finished my course." I have fought a good fight, and I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith. You better trust and believe. Those words are from a voice that still speaks. Some people leave quietly, and some leave echoes. My sister Maxine left echoes. Not just memories, not just words, not just photographs, not just moments to revisit, but strong words. Because, as I said a moment ago, if you ever had a conversation with Maxine, you already know when she wanted to make a point, she would lean into it and say, "You better trust and believe." And she didn't say it lightly. She said it like she had lived something. like she had endured something, like she had earned the right to say it. And now that she's gone, those words they got more might, more bite, more significance. They ring with a certain degree of both clarity and certainty. You better trust and believe. The first portion of that scripture says, I have fought a good fight. Maxine didn't just start fighting later in life. She had that early on. I remember one time when she was about 12 years old. We were running from school. We grew up in Midland, Texas, also known as God's country. And we were at Booker T. Washington Elementary, not far from the house. And because it wasn't far from the house, and we were poor, we knew that Daddy had made some biscuits, and that there was a couple of biscuits left at the house. So we were racing home to get those last couple of biscuits. And while we were racing to the house, Maxine, crossing the street over there at Washington Park, crossing the street, she got hit by a car. That kind of moment can change a life. That kind of moment can slow a person down. That kind of moment can plant fear. But it didn't stop Maxine. Oh yeah, she suffered a leg injury, but it didn't stop her from going on to become a track star. You couldn't outrun Maxine. No. She'd give you a head start just to make you look bad. And then she'd outrun you. She got hit by that car and it didn't stop her. It told me something, and hopefully it tells you something. It tells you that you're not just looking at somebody who endured later in life. When you look at Maxine, when you see Maxine, when you saw Maxine, you were looking at someone who was built to endure. And if that wasn't enough, as a young girl, she found herself in a neighborhood fight. Because if you know anything about Maxine, she'd take it to you. And in this particular instance, it was 2 against 1. And Maxine was the one. I remember it was 2 girls. They walked up in our yard talking noise. And everybody knows that you don't walk up into somebody's yard talking noise. You don't do that. But these little girls, they walked up in the yard and they was talking noise to Maxine and my other sister, Francine. And Maxine said, "What y'all doing? Y'all can't come up here talking like that." And sure enough, one of the girls said, "You just come out here and you try to make something out of it." And Maxine said to Francine, "You stay here." She told Francine, "You stay here. I'll go handle this." And she went out there in the front yard, our yard, and with both of those girls at the same time. That was Maxine. She knew what it was to take it on, and she wasn't going to back down. She handled both of them. Now, I'm not glorifying the fight. No, don't misunderstand me. I'm not glorifying the fight, but I am recognizing the spirit. because that same spirit showed up again and again throughout her life. Maxine, what I'm saying is, she was a fighter. That fighting spirit carried into her adulthood. She served this country, these United States of America, in the military, and she would be very quick to tell you it was the Air Force. For over 33 years, she served. And she didn't start early. You know, most people, they'll go and they'll join when they're 18, 19, 20 years old. Maxine went into the military when she was 26. And I'll never forget when she called home after that basic training. And she went through all the stuff. And she called me and said, brother, you will not believe I ran them 2 miles. She said, I thought I was going to pass out, but I made it. Why? Because she was a fighter. Yes, indeed. She joined at age 26. What does that say? It says that she made a decision. She made a grown woman decision to step into discipline, to step into structure, to step into a certain kind of or level of responsibility, and she stayed with it. She could have quit after 5, 10, 15, 20. Do I need to keep going? 30 years, but no, for 33 plus years. And the only reason she got a discharge then was because she fell and broke her neck. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? That kind of consistency says something. That kind of endurance says something, because you don't give 33 years to anything without strength, without sacrifice, without a certain resolve that says, it's my bed, I made it, and I'm going to lay in it. That was Maxine. Maxine was a mother. She had 5 children, 5 lives connected to her heart. And one of those children, Rayshonda, preceded her in death. And we don't know why. We didn't know why then, and we don't know why now. And Maxine carried that with her. Because if you spend any time again with her, she was going to watch America's Most Wanted. She was going to watch some investigative show. She was going to watch some Crime Stopper. And I believe that the reason why she was so engaged with that kind of television was because as a mother with an unresolved death of her child, she was looking for answers. What mother wouldn't? Maxine certainly did. She wasn't just watching the show. She was looking for clues. She was searching for understanding, searching for peace, searching for something that would make it all make sense. And that wasn't weakness. That was love that refused to quit. Maxine also had an eye. She could look at you a certain kind of way. She had an eye, an intuitive eye. She could read people, their personality, their demeanor, their energy. There wasn't much that got past her. But what made her different was this. She didn't always speak immediately. She knew when to wait because she understood and knew that timing mattered. And when she spoke, it wasn't to tear down, it was always to build up. It was to say what needed to be said in a way that could actually help. That's wisdom. That's restraint. That's maturity. And Maxine had it in spades. She was fully alive. Now let me say this clearly. Maxine wasn't just serious. She wasn't just disciplined. She wasn't just strong. She was fully alive, quick to laugh. And when she laughed with her whole face, with her whole body. She laughed hard. You better trust and believe. Because those words now, they sound like instruction. Trust and believe. When life doesn't make sense, trust and believe. When someone's passing doesn't make sense, trust and believe. When answers don't come, trust and believe. When the loss sits heavy, trust and believe. When the body grows tired, trust and believe. Because faith is not always loud. Sometimes faith is quiet endurance. Sometimes faith is staying when leaving would be easier. So what do we have? What remains? So now we ask, what do we do with this life? What do we do with these memories? What do we do with her absence? Because grief is real, but so is influence. Maxine is not here physically, but she is still present. And what she taught, in how she lived, in what she gave, because the people we love don't just leave memories, they leave assignments. Assignments to live better. Assignments to love deeper. Assignments to carry forward that they placed in us. And that's what Maxine did. When she left at 12:22 on the 22nd day of March, she left me and everybody she knows with an assignment. What's that assignment? To trust and believe. She was quick to catch a moment, quick to bring light into a room. And let me say something else. Nobody could outcook Maxine. And it didn't start out that way. Because I remember one time Maxine cooked some chicken and then called Mama long distance to ask her if it was done yet. True story. But she learned how to cook, boy. And don't tell my wife this, okay? But Maxine lived with us. The last 3 years of her life, she lived with us. And I'm glad that I got time to spend with my sister. But I'm also glad because she taught my wife how to cook really, really good. That was the assignment. I digress and tell you, I laugh, and I'm grateful that I can laugh. And isn't it wonderful to be able to laugh when you think about the awesome, incredible, phenomenal memories that a family member can give you? That when you celebrate their life, yes, there are teardrops, but there are also those moments of laughter. And Maxine gave us that. This, and I'm finished. The other thing that Maxine would say besides, you better trust and believe, is she would say, I know. I know. Now, you'd be talking about something, and you're pretty sure that she doesn't know all the details, but she would interject, I know. I think it's because she had lived and seen so many things She traveled in the military virtually all over the world. She had seen some things that qualified her to be able to say, I know. Maybe she didn't have all the details, but she knew enough. And there's a kind of knowing that doesn't come with books, it comes with living. Maybe she was saying, I know, because she had lived. Maybe she was saying, I know, because she was like Paul, who said, I know whom I have believed. That's not theory. That's not some who shot John. That's experience. And Maxine had enough life experience to say, I know. You better trust and believe, and I know. Let me say this, and I'm finished, I promise. My sister may be gone, but her voice is not silent. I can still hear her, clear as day, saying, you better trust and believe. And maybe today, that's not just her voice. Maybe that's the word we all need. Trust and believe that life still matters. Trust and believe that love does not disappear when one dies. Trust and believe that what God has written is not undone by death. And if I can borrow her words one more time, not just for memory, but for meaning. Trust and believe. I salute my sister, Maxine Warren, and I'm holding a glass of Hennessy. I love you, sister. Carry on. I'll never forget you. You better trust and believe. Peace out.